Welcome to Tattoos in Review. My name's Buck. We're in Southampton, PA. We're going to check out the Inkwell, and we're going to meet up with artist Jason Leeser. Tattooing for 13 years. He also dabbles in podcasting and visual arts. Let's head inside and let's get in. Thanks for doing the show today, man. I appreciate it. Let's start off. Where is your shop located at?
So I work at the Inkwell Tattoo in Southampton, Pennsylvania. We're right along Street Road, right by 2nd Street Pike, just off of, I want to say, the Turnpike exit for Street Road.
If somebody were to try to get a hold of you to do some type of work, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
So I always try to tell people your best way to contact me is through Instagram or email. I'm constantly on Instagram and I'm always checking my email just for that reason. So yeah, feel free to contact me.
Right on. And how far out are you booked out right now?
Right now, I try not to book out any further than 3 months at a shot. I find that booking out too far in advance kind of limits my opportunities for other events, conventions, travel. So I try to keep it to about 3 months at a time.
And how long have you been tattooing for?
I've been tattooing professionally for this September is coming up on 13 years.
Where did you do your apprenticeship at?
So my first apprenticeship, I went through a local studio called Sink the Ink, which used to be based in Willow Grove, and I apprenticed with a number of different people at that studio. After that, I went up to Chalice Tattoo in Quakertown and finished everything up there once that one fell through, and got to experience a whole different world of apprenticeship and a different way of being. Kind of branched off after that and finished up my apprenticeship and got everything kind of finalized through an individual guy named Jason Tapper, who ironically started out at the studio I now work.
And as far as tattoo shops, I mean, have you worked around? I know you said your apprenticeship, you were at a couple different shops, but when you were finally broke free, you were professional, did you work at a bunch of shops around in the area, or did you just kind of drift right here?
I did. So I worked at a number of different studios, one up in Quakertown, another one out in Regalsville, one down in Ambler, and then I landed in another one over in Horsham. I was at that one for a number of years. Like the crew at the time, I was learning a lot of stuff, and I was working with some really, really great people, and I had a lot of flexibility at that studio, which was awesome. Times changed, decade ended, needed to start somewhere fresh, and I always looked at the studio I'm at now as kind of like a goal. If I can achieve the skills that I need to have to be good enough to work at this studio, I know that that can be a goal of mine. So I talked to the owner about it. Ironically, met up with him at the London convention in 2016 or 2017. We got to hang out all week. It was an absolute blast, and finally asked him if he had any space available.
So what's your style? What would you consider your style to be?
So I like a lot of neo-trad stuff, a lot of traditional stuff, a lot of Japanese-inspired things. I try to stay away from things like photorealism and hyperrealism and hypercolor realism and all this other stuff. I've got a very traditional kind of methodology. It was kind of drilled into me, but I've also seen how it ages, and I really like the way that it ages over time. So I try to stick to things around that kind of a style.
Now, do you have anywhere that you won't tattoo?
Like on the human body? Yes, I do. Unless someone has full sleeves, I don't believe you should ever get your hand done. Unless you have a full upper torso, I don't believe you should get your neck done. I was brought up in this industry with certain core values on achieving certain points before you can move on to other areas. For example, getting full sleeves is a certain achievement, which then allows you to say, okay, you know what? I'm fully vested in this. I'm fully committed to this. Now I can go through and I can get my hands done. I have my full upper body done. By that point in time, I really don't care. Now I can get my neck done. I don't typically tattoo any faces. I won't do that just, posterity's sake. I mean, I do tattoos. I don't have my face done. So right. I don't really see the need when there's plenty of other spots on the human body you can get tattooed. So,
do you have a favorite tattoo? I mean, I'm sure you've got a bunch of them, but something off the top of your head that you go, wow, that was a banger, I loved it,
So favorite tattoo that I've done or that I have on?
Let's go with one that you've done.
So one I just got done at the Philadelphia Tattoo Convention this past weekend was actually a chromed out Oni mask, and it was an absolute blast because I don't usually get the opportunity to do a whole lot of chrome. So when they came in and we were talking about it, they brought up the idea of chroming it out. I jumped on it and I was absolutely floored. I absolutely loved it, and it was an absolute blast.
So here at the shop, do you guys take cash, Cash App, credit card?
So we do take debit and credit, Apple Pay, and cash. Obviously, cash is king, but we have expanded into, different types of electronic payment. We have to kind of keep up with the times. A lot of people out there these days don't really carry too much cash, especially if you're looking at younger generations. And especially with some of the projects that we work on, for people to go out and show up with a very, very large amount of cash, it makes a lot of people nervous, so they would prefer to just pay with a card.
Do you do by hour or do you do by piece?
So if it's a smaller piece and I know I can knock it out all in one shot, I will do by piece, and that's usually based on how long I think it's going to take. If it's a bigger project or a more elaborate project, say a full sleeve, full upper torso piece, a back piece, bodysuit, anything of that nature, I usually do either by the session, and I'll do half days or full days, or by the day. But that's all calculated based off of an hourly rate.
So at this point, is there anything I haven't asked you that you feel like you want to bring to a customer's attention if they see this video and they say, hey, you know what, I'm really interested in going to this shop?
I always like to provide a very custom, almost luxury experience for people. I have an iPad people can watch the entire time they're getting worked on. If you have a Netflix show or a Hulu show, or you want to watch a movie on Prime or anything like that, by all means, come on in, we'll queue it up and watch to your heart's content. I find it helps pass the time. I really love working with color, so if you want to throw me a color piece, I'd be all about it. I do a lot of black and gray as well, but I've been trying to push a lot more color stuff lately. So yeah, hit me up with your ideas. I'm all about, trying different stuff and doing a lot of different stuff.
Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think I should have?
I mean, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. So if you guys like this video, if you like the way everything was laid out, do yourself a favor, click the link in the upper left of this video, or hit that like and subscribe button. Follow us.